So what are we looking at here? You know, when I first cooked this dish, it was called steak tidbits on the menu. I've seen it online in different variations called steak bites or beef tips, typically using a New York strip cut of beef or a top round. I'm using beef tenderloin. That's right, filet mignon. So I'll call this sauteed tenderloin bits. Let's see what's in this amazing dish so we can get to the hard part, the mise en place, or in American terms, preparation. So we've got 4 cloves of garlic, fresh thyme, 1 teaspoon of horseradish, salt and pepper, green onion and red bell pepper, now that's for garnish, whole pearl onion, white rice, mushrooms, all-purpose flour, about a cup of beef stock, 3 tablespoons of butter, just over a pound of fresh-cut steak tenderloin from the butcher shop, about a half cup red wine, in this case I'm using Chianti, extra virgin olive oil, Perrin Worcestershire sauce. Okay, let's get started with the prep. Always time your prep with the longest process first, if you can. Peeling the pearl onions are a pain in the spatula, but there's a trick to that. Just drop them in boiling water for 1 minute, let them cool, cut the root end off, and give them a nice, firm squeeze. You can get the rice going now, however much rice you want. A very simple process, twice as much water as rice. Bring to a boil and then finish at the lowest flame setting till it's done. While the rice is cooking, we can choppy. Slice the mushrooms. I'm looking for thick pieces, not thinly sliced, so cut them in half or quarters. This dish is delicious, but it's not very colorful. We want to spark 3 senses when cooking a meal. Smell and taste, of course, but the eyes play a role in the enjoyment also. So I'll garnish with minced red bell pepper. I use paper towels so it doesn't get soggy. And very finely minced green onion. We'll save this till the end. Now take the thyme off the stem. Give the garlic a rough mince. Now let's cut the filet. Pat them dry, butterfly them, and cut them into bite-sized pieces. Okay, that's it for the prep. Easy one. Time to cook. First, heat up the skillet. Duh! I'm using my carbon steel pan for this one. Put 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil in the pan and let it heat up. Lightly flour the beef and place it in the oil, but don't overcook. We want a nice caramelization without overcooking it. I did not season the flour, but I should have. No excuse. This is my first video since last year, so I missed this step. I started this channel in March of last year, the now infamous 2020. My son had passed away in February of that year, and the pandemic hit. I just couldn't continue making videos. I know I said no excuse, and yet I made one. But here we are today, driving forward. Once you've cooked both sides, pull it and put the rest of the meat in, and do the same thing. Now, let the meat rest. Okay, let's move on. Gotta keep moving when you saute. Put a tablespoon of butter in the pan. Then put the mushrooms and pearl onions in. Keep them moving, but be patient. Don't forget the salt and pepper this time. I'll season the meat while I'm at it. The mushrooms need to release moisture so they caramelize. As you saute the mushrooms, the water will release and evaporate. When you start to see the pearl onions begin to caramelize, clear a spot for the garlic. I like to add a little bit of oil or butter so you're not adding it to a dry, hot pan. Season with a pinch of salt and pepper. Saute until the garlic has a chance to release some flavor. And now it's time to deglaze so it all comes together with a big shot of love. The secret ingredient to everything you cook for friends and family. Add the rest of the butter now. This is a basic step when building a pan sauce. Some more delicate sauces will have you put the butter in at the end. This style works better with alcohol first, followed by the butter, then the stock, in that order. Once the butter melts, keep it moving and add the horseradish. Now move it around and use your wooden spoon to mix it and scrape all the love from the bottom of the pan. Now add the stock, about a cup, but it can be less. Right now it looks watery, but as it reduces, the flour left in the pan from the beef will help thicken it. You can even add a little flour over the mushrooms and onions as you cook them if you want the sauce to be really thick. So let this reduce before adding the beef. The beef is almost done, and we'll reheat it in the sauce while trying not to overcook it. Do you see how as the liquid reduces, the bubbles get larger and slower? So I'll add the Worcestershire sauce, about a tablespoon, and add the meat, and all the drippings, of course. Make sure to submerge all that beef into the sauce. You see how the bubbles are getting larger and slower? It's almost ready to serve. Add the fresh thyme now. I will almost always add the dry spices early, fresh herbs last. A general rule of thumb is the longer you cook dry spices, the better, and you don't want to overcook fresh herbs. You know I'm gonna taste it along the way, right? This is fantastic, but a little more salt and pepper will do the trick. Always better to underseason, as you can always add, but you can't take it away. Plate the rice and get a large serving spoon or a ladle, and let's put the finishing touches on this amazing sauté. This will serve 4 sparingly, but it will serve 2 lovingly. Finish with the garnish, green first followed by red. A garnish that serves the eyes and the palate. Look at that. By the time this video is uploaded, I would have already devoured this, and that is truly my favorite part, and trust me, it was great. So give it a try, and since you're in your own kitchen, make the adjustments as you see fit, but follow the steps, very important. When you understand the process, you can really cook anything. Hey, thanks for hanging out, and consider making sauteed tenderloin bits tonight. Why not? You're cooking with Crank. See you next time.